Well, hi and welcome to my shop, and thanks for joining me here. Now, usually I'm working on vacuum tube radios, but today it's going to be a church organ. A church organ. Now, I cannot play the organ, but we're going to make a little bit of music with this, or at least a little bit of sound, and demonstrate what the problem is. Very straightforward. How about some volume? How about pushing a button? How about some volume? And you've seen the problem now. Ooh, that's pretty low. Sounds very ominous. So, how come no sound here? No. And that's my musical demonstration right there. The only thing that's not working right on this keyboard is this volume control. So it is a stereo machine, and you're hearing one channel coming in, and then the other channel. The volume control is shot. It needs to be replaced, and that's why this keyboard is here, just to get a new volume control. So now I had this at my house about a week and a half ago, and I replaced the power fitting, or I made some alternate arrangement for the power fitting. That came out okay, but I think I can make an improvement there too. But I discovered what's involved in taking this guy apart. There's a lot of screws. This is a very expensive, in its day. This is worth thousands of dollars. Still worth money, I'm sure. And it's very rugged. It's not meant to be in your house. Although if you were a serious organ player, you'd love to have this. I'm pretty sure. Where am I looking here? Well, to take this apart, and I'm not going to do it right here. I got to flip it over. And then there's like a dozen screws, or more than a dozen, 24 screws that have to come out of it. Then we can look at the inside. There's going to be layers of circuit boards. I'm going to have to remove some layers of circuit boards to get to the one that has the volume control mounted in it. This is the challenge here. Okay, let's start looking at the back. This is the bottom of it. There's nothing in it. It's just a big plastic bottom, held in with an enormous number of screws. So this is we can get it on camera. There's it going to come through. There it is. A Roland model C-190. Made in Italy. I didn't realize that. Made in Italy, but here in Canada. So the way, when you look at the back of a piece of electronic equipment, this is true on most pieces of equipment. You see how I left this screw in? Why would I do that? The screws you take out are all marked. You see a little arrow there? The screws to come out are marked. This is very common in electronic equipment. So you don't take out the wrong screw. Like this one would be the wrong screw to take out. Unfortunately, some of these screws go into posts, plastic posts, like my finger rising up. And somebody previous to me has over-torqued some of these screws. You see, one here is held in with tape. I've just left it there. there's no more post to go into. It's broken and lost inside it. And so it is the case with quite a number of these center ones. They're going into posts. I'm going to guess what happened. I don't have it here in my hand. Somebody was probably using a power screwdriver to drive them back in. No, 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 no. You can't control the end result of a power screwdriver. You drive that screw in really hard and break the post you don't know about that's under here. You should do these by hand. I mean, you can power them in, close to the end if you want, because there's so many. Look at how many screws there are in this thing. Oh my gosh, that's half the weight of it right there. So, not to overpower it, but this thing's got so many screws that 2 or 3 broken away doesn't make any difference. Now I'm going to go and get the guts. The guts, that's the part we need to work on. Okay, so one thing to look at, I'm going to be flipping this over and then I won't be able to see the top, are these controls, all these buttons, are they designed to just kind of sink through the cabinet? Do I have to pull these off? Well, I have to pull these off, these 3 here. Especially this volume control, because I'm going to go after the circuit board that's on. There we are. And I'm guessing it's one long circuit board. It's going to have all 3 of these controls on it. Okay, let's flip it over and see what's in store here. Oh boy, here we are. Well, where'd that volume control go? Volume control, I just flipped it straight so it's down on this board. This board is below this one. So this one looks like I would leave it, but I'm not sure. Maybe this board is attached to this board. This one's on stilts. No, this one's on its own stilts also. These kinds of things here. Oh my gosh. This is the power thing I did, which I'm not too happy about because it's just too short here. It's just, this is how long the wire was, and I just put it in this way thinking that might be enough, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to survive in here. So I'm going to deal with that, but that's a simple thing. So let's look this guy over here. First you've got these speakers, which the sales information on this, it talks about these speakers as if they're something fantastic, and maybe they are for their size of them. Look, they're just little guys, tiny little guys. So they pack a pretty good wallop for such small speakers. But no, they're not doing this keyboard justice. When it was here last, I plugged it into my own stereo, and I've got great big floor standing speakers, and wow, wow, this thing just sounded fantastic. So we have lots of bundles of wires. They're clipped in different places. So I'm just doing a kind of a general examination so I know what kind of trouble I'm going to get into. We've got these ground wires here. What I'm hoping is I can kind of take the screws out of these boards and just lift them out of the way without unplugging everything. I don't want to unplug all this stuff for fear of doing some kind of damage to it. I have to think, there's how many contacts are in all these plugs? 50 contacts? What are the chances all 50 will work if I pull them out and put them in? It's probably a very good chance they would all work, but maybe not. I don't want to get into that. Here's looks like a power plug here. Not so scary to pull out. So how do you get the board off now? Did they mark the screws? I don't think so, but there's definitely a pattern here. Sort of a pattern. No, it's not really a pattern, is it? So this is, well, this feels like it's going into a heat shield or something under there. It's a great big heat shield. I think the dashed lines, it looks like a solid thing here, but it's a series of lines. I think that's to enable a ground contact between the screw head and the contact here. These aren't screws, these are solder points, these two. Okay, so this screw has a post, this screw has a post, this one has a post, post, post. Oh, okay, there's also, I just noticed this is a separate board here running along there. There's an edge right here, so more circuit boards in here. Well, I think it's kind of obvious to start with this board. Try to lift it off by doing the screws. Try to avoid doing any of these for now, because I think they're holding a big heat sink in here. The on-off switch is here. All these input ports are all here. Input-output ports. This is for MIDI, which is kind of neat. External pedal. Just all this is on this board. Okay, it really does look like there's enough wire here to lift it and just flip it or move it over here somewhere. Okay, I don't know what else to wait for. I'm going to do that. Okay, one last screw to do. Now I photographed this. Even though I'm putting it on video, I also photograph these things so I can return parts to where they, you know, these green wires, and you don't really know. Like, you think to yourself, oh, this won't require photographs. Think again. Now, how did I do that? I have only. How did that happen? I just took two screws out. I only have one in my hand. Some kind of magic trick just to put it over here. Okay. Well. And that's why I make videos, so I can find screws. I don't know what happened there. That's really weird. It's not on the end of my screwdriver. Well, I won't worry about it right now. Don't worry about it. Oh, I put it in this cup. Did I put it in the cup? I don't want to put it in the cup. Yeah, it'll go in the cup. Okay, I'm okay. Everything's okay. I'm going to try to lift this board out, so it's got to kind of go like this because of these pieces. There's not a lot of play here. This bundle of wire. This thing is already causing problems here. I got to remove this. Sort of call it the temporary power solution. Okay, I've got to desolder that and get rid of it. Okay. Oh, left my ham radio going. Maybe you can hear that in the background. I have a 2-meter receiver here. I normally have the volume down while I'm shooting video. On the 2-meter handheld, there we go. Okay, this I want to extend this anyway. Come on through the hole there because it was too tight. Okay, let's see what we got now. Let me turn down my 2-meter radio here. Okay, how far can we get now? Can we get it? We can get it right off. Okay. Oh, look at that, right like that. There's a good chance this has been manufactured with this in mind. There's a chance. Put this over here, make it a little less. Okay, now this post bypasses this board. Like, I don't know if you can see there's little cutouts for some of these. Oh my gosh. Bypasses. So that means I don't have to undo this. I got to get this board out of here too. I'm pretty sure. Can I just leave it? Can I leave it? No. No. It's on stilts here. That this side is bolted right to this board. This side is bolted to stilts. What if I just undo the stilts? Because there's screws. So I have to get to the other side of this board. Where is that volume control? It's right here. Before we go any further, I'm going to get the little volume control that's going in here. I'm going to compare it to this, because what if it's not the right size? What if it's the wrong control? It came from Spain. Okay, here it is. I thought this came from Spain, but interestingly enough, the postage is Deutsches Post, Germany. Oh, those Europeans. You never know what they're doing over there. Here it is. Brand new. Specifically for this machine. They have probably a few others like it. So here we are. So it's going to go in. You can guess it's either this way or that way. You see the terminals are offset slightly on this. These ones are quite obviously offset here. They're not straight across. Same thing here. What do you want now, Peanut? I see these are offset. This is quite a bit. Look, it matches. Probably it can go in like that. Oh, it can go in like that. I could put this in upside down if I try hard. I'm very good at getting things backwards, so how do you know which end's up? Well, we'll worry about that when it comes. Well, my only objective right now is to make sure if this is correct, and it is. So we'll put it back in its protective bag. See how far I can get before my cat comes after me here. There he is. Peanut? What's happening? So a number of videos ago, maybe a week or a week and a half ago, I mentioned that poor Peanut had to go to the vet on an emergency and that, and we thought he was done. But since then we changed his food to food we're buying from the veterinarian, and his health has shot through the roof. It just has improved on every level. So, and that's why he's in here now saying, come on, man. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff going on in the shop here, I guess. Well, I'm going to have to go toy around with him for a little bit. It's going to be food, or it's going to be play, or it's going to be lap time, one of those three. Then I'll come back and we'll just focus on getting this board up and out, up and over, up and over, up. I think I can do it. I think it can just be lifted up and kind of stuck over. Okay, Peanut, here I come. Okay, so before I go any further, I just want to be really sure. I see there's a cable here. Again, flipping this up should be okay. There's another cable under these ones. Looks about the same. Put the same amount of play in it. So I'm pretty sure I can get this up. But we don't, and unfortunately I can see a screw down here holding the bottom board. So this board has to come free. Phooey on that. Okay, I'll take this board out. Tried to leave all the, oh, you're not even seeing what I'm pointing at. This guy here. Okay, so I'm going to get that one out of there. Okay, screws are out, but I don't think this is going to come out so easily. Looks like I got to pull out these two plugs here. Then it's going to go over. Just what I don't like doing. Is there some kind of a little lock on this? I don't think so. I think you just overcome it by pulling on it. So, my experiences with, obviously I've done these kinds of things before, but most of my experiences with very old vacuum tube equipment. And here comes this one. Not so much with stuff like this. Okay, those two are out. Get this one. Okay, there goes one side. There we go. I got them out. Okay, so now I think I can pick the board up and swoop it up this way. Maybe this way. Okay, we're down to the keyboard. 1, 2, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 screws to get out of there. I bet you there's more. I bet you there's some in the middle here maybe. So have they marked these? They have not really marked them, but I see there's just a ton going down the middle, so I suspect that's holding parts on the other side. And it's truly these outside ones that have to go. We'll take the outside ones out first and see if that does the trick. Okay, I'm down to the last few screws here. I'm going to photograph that spot. No, I will have gotten it earlier. I will have gotten it. It's just this wire is coming completely free here. So it's going to wander off. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to try to leave it right there. Okay. Oh, one more screw. We'll see if this is it. Okay, board, are you loose? So I'm looking for anywhere where it seems to be held down in place. Seems to be held down in this area. Did I miss a screw? Oh, I did. It was hidden. They're hiding the screw here. But they didn't hide it well enough because I found it. Okay, what now? So I think there's a lot of weight on this. It's making that sound. There's nothing to grab onto. Here it comes. There it is. Ooh, what happened here? What happened there? Oh, whew. I thought, oh my God, first thing I've done is broken one of these. Yeah, this is nerve-wracking for me, by the way. There's a congregation, a church congregation, that's depending on this organ for their services, and Sunday is coming. What was that? What was that? That was strange. That was very strange. Oh, it's this. I think it's this. It has a ring to it. Okay. So if I just get this to stay like that, I can work on this guy here. Get him out of there. Okay, can we tell which way is which? Let me get the replacement. Where's the and the lever. Oh, right here. Which way is which? Is there some telltale sign on here? It just looks completely symmetrical. Oh, here we are. So there's, it says there B10K. It doesn't say anything on the other side. Now, would this say I have the same thing written on it? It's possible. What can I even see down there? Okay, I gotta move this. Often when I'm doing this, the camera's right in the way. You get the good shot. And I have to accommodate the situation. Is there any... There are words on this side, not the same words. That's kind of a crazy problem. Okay. We can go on the words. Words are on that side. Go like that. We'll find out in the long run if it's done right. That's the problem. That is the problem. This is called the, it's got words here, top control board. A bunch of numbers on it. Well, take this one out. Make sure I keep the alignment the same. Test it in some way, you know, for the resistance. Match this to it so I got it the right way. I'm gonna have to do that to be sure, because we're relying on just where they printed on the side. I don't think that's a guarantee. It's not the same print. Okay, that's good. I think it's before I do this, next step, it's the next step is to remove the part. That's the next step. Okay, so of course I'm working down at this end of the board. Here's a bit of a different angle on things. These are the connections I need to desolder. Now I've got a solder sucker device here. I got one of these guys. But I'm going to try something I had never tried before, and that's because I've never had the stuff to do it, and that's this solder wick, which is just braided copper. See if I can wick off all the solder from here. Like I say, I've never done it before. Doesn't look very impressive to me. Yeah, let's try the solder sucker. I have a little more skill with that. We'll see how that works. First you push the plunger in, and then you just push the release. Poof! And that'll suck the solder up there. That's the idea. So first I gotta melt it. This is tricky to use too. And the light is so bad in here. That's a little better. That's good. was thinking about the volume control. Maybe there is no top and bottom to it. Maybe either way you put it in, it works the same. That's possible, I think. That would explain why it's perfectly symmetrical. Come on, soldering iron, what's with you? You need a bit of a cleanup here. Something wrong with my soldering iron? What's happened? What's happened to it? It's 362 degrees according to the control. Where's my solder? Where's my solder go? The soldering iron appears to not be hot. How can that be? Just. And who took my solder? Somebody stole my solder here. Okay, we'll just get some other solder. Oh no, it's melted there. It's melted. In the meantime, while I'm doing all that, I melted it. Yeah, I don't think anything's wrong with my soldering iron. Sure does seem to be not heating that well. I do have a special soldering iron thermometer. I may have to bring it out and check. So this should just melt these immediately. What's happened? Well, it does melt solder. They use some kind of special solder on here. It melts at 1,000 degrees only or something. Turn my soldering iron up higher. Get a closer look with the camera at what's going on here. Okay, so these are the ones I've done. Very hard to see in a camera. Two of them look pretty good. Done these. It just didn't look like it worked at all. Oh, come on, autofocus, don't do this to me. Yeah, just have to work away at these for a while to get them freed up enough to do them repeatedly and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to do here until I get it out. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to put a little pressure with the screwdriver to pull it out while I start on the top ones here. So even though I've removed a lot of the solder, they're still soldered in. It's just not much solder now. There's 4 things here. How am I ever gonna? This is like picking a lock. Burn the wires. Okay, so that has sunk a fair bit. So now I think I'm probably should work on these ones here. Where's with my soldering iron? Doesn't seem to be transferring heat the way it normally does. Okay, I'm going to investigate my soldering iron. This is something's not quite right here. I have to find that temperature thing. I haven't used this for a long time, but that's the room temperature, 19.7 degrees C. My soldering iron says the tip temperature is 362 degrees. Let's see what this says. Any one of those temperatures okay? There's a lot of different temperatures there. I'd say it's 3 in the 340 range. How do I get those higher readings occasionally? Just pushing down on it too hard. Looks like 340 to me. And the solder doesn't even look melted on here. Well, that's a really unexpected situation here. Maybe I've worn out my soldering iron. It's really melt solder. And of course you get down, now what are you going to believe? It says 350. And my machine over there says 362. Who are you going to believe? I don't know who you're going to believe. I think I'm going to turn it up a little bit though. Turn up the temperature here a little bit. 375 on there now. Okay, back to where I was. Oh, you're staring at an empty bench now. Back to this. Camera doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, there we are. Okay, back to a hotter soldering iron now. Just a little hotter. This back in. Boy, this is lifted quite a ways off the board. Now, for me to apply the pressure, because even though I've moved the top connections, they've all frozen up again. You know, they're all resoldered, sort of. So I can't get pressure. Middle ones, here we go. Get my soldering iron. Soldering iron cord in the wrong spot. Okay, got pressure. So this, I'm gonna have to inch this out a little bit at a time. To some degree, relying on the flexibility of the board itself too. And that's not so good. It's just soldering tip just doesn't seem to be doing the trick. There must be some kind of solder here that is different from what I usually use. Do you use silver solder? Don't know anything about silver solder. You can see the solder collecting on the tip of my soldering iron's dying right in front of us here. It's giving up the ghost. Or maybe that's bits and pieces of this solder they've used. Maybe it's not eutectic solder. Why would they do that? Why would they use anything other than eutectic solder on a board like this? I don't think they would. This is my soldering iron. It's giving up the ghost. I don't get it. I'm gonna have to get something regular to solder and try it and make sure my soldering iron is working. It just doesn't seem to you know, maybe it reaches the temperature, but it can't deliver the heat. I've had it for a few years now. Wow, look at that. I'm really... Okay, gotta investigate my soldering iron properly here and find out what is going on. I kind of can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm gonna solder this wire connection. I'm gonna turn my soldering iron back to the regular temperature I use. Can you solder with it? Oh my gosh, of course. There's nothing wrong with the soldering iron at all. So what's happening in the back of this? They must have used something different than what I'm using for solder. That's really not the best deal. I just can't believe they wouldn't use silver solder on this, would they? Would they do that? These are the connections here. I don't know. Let me just fix the focus here. There. Okay, I'm just gonna have to just go back to work on it. Just keep working at it. This is a very, very slow process. Let's see how I'm doing. It's coming out. I haven't worked on the bottom end yet. Okay, it's slowly progressing. Okay, down to the last connection. Things got a little rugged here. Just this last one here. Come on out. Come on. Come on, what's holding it in? There's nothing holding it. Come on, there. Whew, just kind of fell out suddenly. Wow, that guy took a bit of a beating, eh? That's okay, because I want to look inside this. It's out. Now, how did I come out? Come out this way. Where's on this side? I very cleverly put a mark there. I put a mark on the board. And I need to match this up with the other one somehow. Or does it really not matter? Let's look inside this. Let's look inside this thing. What happened to it? Aside from me destroying it on the way out. Smash it apart. Try to bend these clips here. Oh, they're soft. I did it with my fingers. Huh. Who needs tools? I do. I need tools. Okay, so we get a chance to see what has gone wrong in here. So this part, there's the sliding contacts there. Well, I don't see anything obvious at all. Huh. I thought I'd see something quite obvious. You know, a break in the piece there, because you could slide it halfway and then things changed. But I don't see anything going on there. Oh well, okay. Look more closely at it later if we care to. Now it's time to clean up the holes in the board here and make it so I can just pop the new one right in. And is there a direction to this thing? I don't think there is, actually. couldn't resist and I wanted to take a closer look at this. Now, a couple of things. First, it's full of stuff. What's that stuff, the liquid? That could be me spraying WD-40 or another kind of cleaner in here. Now, you see down at the end here, there's definitely a crack, but that's where I bent this when I was taking it out. The thing I think that's interesting is the amount of junk that has been swept up. Like, imagine the sliders go back and forth and they keep the track fairly clear. But at the ends, they pile up the junk that's been building up in it. Where's the break, the fault? The amount of junk that's piled up in there. I don't see any problem with it, but there must be a problem. To investigate this with an ohmmeter or something later. Okay, new one goes in. So I'm afraid I had to get pretty rugged with this to get everything out and to get the holes cleared, and I disturbed the trace there, which you can see is lifted a little bit. But I'm sure I can solder that back. I think I've got all the holes clear now. Is this really been... Oh, what's going on there? I think that'll be okay. Wow, what a monstrous thing here. Now, some of these aren't connected to anything. They appear to be not connected. Turns out you can only put this control in one way. The pins are arranged in such a way you can't get it in backwards. I tried. Okay, I'm going to try again. Here we go. Okay, let's see if I can put it in now. This is attempt number 2. Okay, everything's lining up. Popping in. Popping in. Plopping in everywhere. It's popped in. Oh, thumbs up on that. Wow. That was quite a journey. Now I've got to do the soldering on the back. I should make an examination of that a little bit. Here. Okay, it's pretty rough, but these ones in the middle here, they don't attach to anything, although look at the solder mess I've made. They, it looks like there's little tiny this little piece right here. Looks like it attaches. It's pretty tiny. Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just... Yeah, you know, maybe that's... I don't know what that is. Okay, and then the ones up here. These look good. I roughed up the... Oh, I roughed up the... Which one? This one. This one I worked so hard on. I roughed it up, but I can solder that. Good? Okay. We are good to go on soldering. Okay, let's have a look at the solder result here. appears to be soldered. Now the difficulty with doing this kind of work is you have to reassemble things quite a ways just to find out if everything worked out. These two don't actually connect anywhere. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, so the two on the upper part, they don't connect anywhere, but the two lower ones do, and they seem it's ugly. It's ugly, all right, but I think it's okay. It's ugly, all right, but okay. Well, I think I'm gonna go and have my lunch, and then afterwards turn this guy on and see what happens. Okay, I think it's time for a test. So I've extended this cord so it's not so tight here anymore, and I've strain relieved it in here pretty good, so this should be good. I'm going to plug the power in. Switch is off. Power in. Okay, I believe the volume is turned low right now, but I've got the thing upside down. I cannot turn it right side up or these boards will fall out. So, so I'm going to have to duck under a little bit. So first we'll put the power on. I think I heard a little pop in the speakers. Looks good up here. What if we play a note? What if we turn the volume up and hold a note? What if we don't hear a darn thing? Oh boy, it took a lot to put this back together, enough to test it. Phooey might be a good word to use right now. So, I'm not getting anything at all. Maybe I've got the settings wrong on it. Okay, we can tip it up a certain amount here. Okay. Not a good sign. Oh, I haven't got any of these pushed. Oh. Don't push so hard. Uh-oh. Okay, can I just leave it like that? Can I get one of these buttons pushed? That's all it really takes. The light should come on. Reverb. Is there something else? Oh, I can turn on max. Is there anything else I'm doing that is dumb? Oh, probably. This memory stuff is turned off. It'd be a good thing if I knew how to use this. Power off. Power on. No reverb this time. Oh, there we go. Oh boy. We're off to a really bad start here. Yeah, this is not what I wanted. I've got one of these buttons pushed again. Push one. Okay, none of these are coming on. I'm not pushing them hard enough. Don't like the situation. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to screw the boards in a little tighter so I can really turn it right over. Well, that was not a good showing. That was not a good showing. Okay, go attempt number 2. Maybe I have to have these up. volume minimum, the other two maximum. Power's plugged in, power on. Pop in the speaker. Reverb lights on, that's normal. Oh my gosh, this board's still loose, too loose. Ah! The board is bouncing. I got one. Here we are. These ones have to do with these up here. What's happening is the button is striking the cabinet and I'm not able to depress it far enough to make contact. It's getting caught on the cabinet here. So this is only for the lower. It's definitely stereo there. Oh, it sounds like a big ship coming in. That's the end of my skill. Well, that's fantastic. That's great. That's wonderful. Okay. Whew. Man, the pressure was... I was really steaming up there for a bit. Okay, so now it's just a matter of neatening it all up. And I'm done. Fantastic. Okay, this will be my world debut playing the piano. First of all, volume minimum. And we'll just ramp up the volume. Okay, to the sound of my ham radio here. Okay, well that's it. That's great. Everything's good. Done. Fantastic. Wonderful. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you got a kick out of that. Not my music. The work. See ya.